It's the last place you'd expect to find echoes of a story that once reached across the world. A single gravel road coursing deep into the Canadian wilderness, leading to a tiny town perched on a riverside. The way is exciting and treacherous. Hairpin switchbacks, exposed drop-offs, and extreme 20% grades all make one wonder, why is this town even out here? At the end of such a daunting road and so far from any other settlement. The answer lies in the land and how it came to play in one of the most obscure and ambitious projects in human history. Leave the pavement far behind with us and venture to a place where the raw power of nature still reigns unchecked. Where we are just the visitors. The next chapter of our adventure begins here along the shores of Dease Lake, British Columbia. Here is where we leave our home on wheels behind, because where we're going, it's best she stay put. We've been camped at the northern tip of Dease Lake along the already remote Stewart-Cassiar Highway. We must first get to the town of Dease Lake before turning onto the road that will take us even deeper into the wild. Population 230, Dease Lake is the largest town for a ways. It is part of a larger census region that covers 5,000 square miles of northern BC. The total population of that census region? About 380 people. Perhaps this gives some perspective on how far out we already are as we turn our wheels west and leave Dease Lake behind. The pavement ends, and the road to Telegraph Creek begins. The town of Telegraph Creek lies 70 miles to the west of Dease Lake. The first 45 miles cruise high along the Stikine Plateau, high enough to get us a solid bird's-eye view of our surroundings. The Stikine Plateau is a vast upland region covering much of northwest BC. It is deeply incised by rivers that cut relentlessly downward. Below us right now, the Tanzila River snakes its way through the plateau, with ice-capped Mount Etsiza barely visible in the distance. That mountain is actually quite significant, as we'll learn later on. So far the road is pretty nice. It's a bit washboardy, but we aired down the tires to 20 psi and now it's like smooth sailing. Here's where we'd like you to start imagining what this landscape was like in the mid-1800s, long before a gravel road cut so smoothly across it. It was hardly an inviting landscape, at least for newcomers with a mission to get across it fast. Keep that in mind as the story unfolds. In the meantime, enjoy the last view of the highlands, because we are about to get to the fun part. It's difficult to convey grades and steepness on camera, but this part of the road drops about 600 feet in 4 quick switchbacks. 600 feet might not sound like much, but when you realize that's 50 feet higher than the Washington Monument, things change a bit. At the base, we cross the Tuya River, which has already been on quite a journey. It originates at the edge of the Cassiar Mountains and has already traversed the entire Stikine Plateau to get here. Three miles downstream, the Tuya River will join the mighty Stikine, just as the Tanzila did, though we weren't close enough to witness the moment.
What a spectacular road.
It's pretty amazing.
Wow, bitches. Look at those mountains.
Mountains are crazy.
Those are the Coast Mountains, and as you can see, they form quite an impassable wall. They stand between the Pacific Ocean and the interior, and there's really no getting over them. Anyone who wants to access this land of the interior must find a way through. To this day, there is no road through at this latitude. Making it down the steeped terraced walls of the Stikine River Valley is challenging enough. This road is ambitious as it is, and we are really starting to enjoy it. In the distance, you can start to see just a hint of what lies ahead. Though we might just make you wait to see it tomorrow when the returning sun reveals it in its full glory. For now, we have just enough light to pull into camp, not realizing that we are about to be gifted an experience most filmmakers only ever dream of. As we take in the view around and below us, something catches our eye. It takes the telephoto lens to verify what we think we see on the canyon's edge. Half the world's mountain goats live in British Columbia, and a resident population calls the Stikine River Canyon home. Their pure white coat indicates they evolved in close association with snow and ice. In short, we may get chilly tonight as the sun sets and a biting wind kicks up, but the goats will be just fine. They choose to live in absurdly steep terrain because it keeps them alive. Predators cannot follow where they go. Their bodies simply aren't made the same. Tremendous shoulder muscles, short legs, and a low forward center of gravity make nearly vertical cliffs a breeze for mountain goats. Their cloven hooves have a rough textured pad that provides traction, and their toes can spread widely to distribute weight and even grip if the need calls for it. They are truly remarkable creatures. By now, the sun has fully set and we settle in for the night. There's a deep sense of peace that comes from being surrounded by this and nothing else. We can't wait to give you the full picture in the morning. Before we continue on, let's take a brief step back to the time before Europe set its sights on this vast land now called Canada. The Tahltan Nation controls this region, savvy fishermen, hunters, and traders. Their main trading partners are the Tlingit nations of the Pacific coast, and no footpaths over the coast mountains are needed to maintain this solid economic relationship. They don't need any, because they have the Stikine. One of the great rivers of the north, the Stikine flows from interior highlands and charts a narrow but decisive route through the coast mountains to the sea. Where it cuts through the Stikine Plateau, it has formed a canyon so deep and striking, it has been named the Grand Canyon of the North. Here, the canyon walls show distinct layers with columnar structures that look quite familiar. We've seen this before in the Atlan Volcanic District we explored in episode 9. And so, if you're wondering, yes, these are lava flows. But from where? On this drive so far, where have we seen anything that even slightly resembles a volcano? Chew on that for a bit. In the meantime, let's hit the road again because one of our favorite parts of the drive lies just ahead. This is the Tahltan River, and we are getting our first glimpse of it just before it joins the Stikine. We've filmed quite a few river confluences, but this one kinda takes the cake. This confluence was, and still is, a deeply important site for the Tahltan Nation. It was a nexus for trade routes and hunting grounds further inland. It was also the perfect place to fish and dry salmon and gather for important cultural events. It still maintains that role today. No one lives here year-round. The buildings we see are for seasonal fishing and cultural gatherings of the Tahltan First Nation. There's also something very powerful to see here at the confluence, but it's backlit right now, so we'll make sure to stop and show you on the drive back. For now, let's enjoy this hill coming up, because if any stretch conveys how epic this road is, it's this one. Now that we've conquered the hill and gained an even deeper appreciation for the beauty of this region, let's take another step back in time. The year is 1864. Britain recently established the colony of British Columbia. American expansion across the West is in full swing, and at least when it comes to communication, the world is shrinking. With the invention of the telegraph, messages that once took days, weeks, or even months to arrive can now reach their destination in a matter of hours. There is one clincher, though. There is no link between the telegraph networks of the Americas and the rest of the world. It would be like having two internets today cut off from one another. Enter Perry Collins, who hatches a plan that, if successful, will change the world. To link the two hemispheres and enable rapid communications across the globe for the first time in history. The question is, how will it be done? The road now skirts high along the canyon's edge, and we're not far from our destination. From this vantage point, both the river and the canyon garner a healthy dose of respect. The Stikine River is profoundly wild. It is one of the few North American rivers still undammed, and some sections are so treacherous it is often called the Everest of whitewater. It's been said that more people have walked on the moon than paddled the entire Stikine. It's never lost on us how fortunate we are to come to places like this, to learn their stories and share them with you. So thank you for being with us on our journey, for appreciating and sharing in each incredible corner of this world with us. We're almost in Telegraph Creek, and so it's time to return to that story of the project to connect the world. Again, the year is 1864. Twice now, efforts to lay a telegraph line across the Atlantic have failed, so Collins proposes another idea. To extend the current West Coast line through the Pacific Northwest, across the new colony of British Columbia, through Russian America, across the Bering Strait, and then through Siberia to meet Russia's easternmost line. This will connect the Americas to Moscow and to the rest of Europe from there. The plan is approved, funded, and teams are sent out to simultaneously scout the route and build as they go. You can guess where they chose to lay the line across the Stikine. And now, if you're thinking, so that answers why Telegraph Creek exists. The Collins telegraph came through, a town sprang up, the rest is history. Not so fast, because here's the twist. The year is 1867. Thousands of miles of telegraph cable have already been strung across the planned route. The line is well on its way to connect the world for the first time when suddenly the entire project is abandoned. Crews are called home, giant spools of wire and supplies are left to rot in the wilderness. And here's the thing. The line hadn't made it this far when that happened. The Collins telegraph never made it to Telegraph Creek. And so why then is the town here? Let's get a lay of the land and start putting the pieces together. The town of Telegraph Creek is built on a series of terraces, with the old historic district right along the water's edge. You are looking at the only permanent settlement on the entire 379-mile Stickeen River. To the east, the Grand Canyon of the Stickeen looms, promising nothing but powerful currents and ship-eating rapids. To the west, the river calms and begins its transformation to a much kinder waterway. The coast mountains loom even closer, demanding respect and awe. Their sheer height and presence amplify the appreciation of this river as the only way through at this latitude. A few of the historic buildings have something to add to this story as well. The first thing we see are signs of outfitters, companies that would have supplied prospectors, trappers, and on a really good year, an immense surge of gold rushers. Next we see a telegraph office. But how can that be? The Collins Telegraph never made it here. And so here is where it all comes together. The year is 1861. A minor gold rush brings a handful of stampeders up the Stickeen to this region, but it fizzles out. Fast forward a few years, and as we know, the Collins Telegraph Project decides this is the place to run the line across the Stickeen. They plan to run the cable along a creek that carves a convenient pathway through the steeply terraced riverbank. They call that little stream Telegraph Creek. They choose this particular spot on the Stickeen because it's the farthest up the river ships can come carrying crews and building materials. The project is abandoned, as we know, but the footprint of Telegraph Creek remains, and now this route to the interior is better known. Outfitters spring up to supply prospectors, trappers, and big game hunters, who then access trails that head further inland thanks to the Tahltan First Nation. Then, the boom. The Klondike Gold Rush brings stampeders up the river where they disembark, then make their way north on the Teslin Trail. The Klondike Stampede has another big impact. It compels the completion of a telegraph line to Dawson City, the epicenter of the gold rush. There's no point reinventing the wheel, so the line follows much the same route already surveyed by the Collins Telegraph Project. And with that, the town of Telegraph Creek becomes a key trading, transportation, and communication hub of young British Columbia. Through all of it, the Tahltan First Nation was here, still is here, and always will be here. We get a healthy reminder of that when we decide to check out St. Aidan's Anglican Church, built in 1924. Now you might be like us, wondering, where is everybody? So we climb back up the gulch carved by Telegraph Creek, picturing a single cable of telegraph wire snaking through. Imagine, if the Collins Overland Telegraph hadn't been abandoned, any and all messages between the Americas and the rest of the world would have passed right through here. What an interesting place.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's a lot of abandoned buildings. I thought, isn't it supposed to be 200 people living here?
250 year-round residents is what I read.
It doesn't look like it. I guess most of the people that live here year-round live up on the hills. I think we should explore the road that we didn't take, the one that goes up.
Yeah, the one that goes towards the gas station.
Yeah.
So this is where everybody lives. This is cool. You see up on the higher terrace.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
It must be really pretty here in the winter. Wow.
I can only imagine. I just can't get over how remote this community is.
And the drive here, I mean, I can't get bored of driving this road. I mean, it's just every bend of it has something beautiful to see.
We leave Telegraph Creek with daylight to spare because there are a few loose ends to tie up in this story. We also got a tip about a waterfall that sounds too good to pass up.
Very steep. Be careful.
Feel like a mountain goat.
You gotta be careful here. Treacherous.
Whoa. This is a little treacherous. All for the love of waterfalls.
Wow, that's amazing. That was totally worth the stop.
Oh, wow! Oh, wow! Yeah, that is worth it.
It's not very big, but it's beautiful and super tall. Wow.
Now, some of you may not know that Jose has an ongoing photographic series of waterfalls from our travels in North America. This incredible cascade certainly makes the cut. If you'd like to see the series, and maybe even get a print for your home, check out Jose's website. This stunning scene is thanks to the tough, durable nature of this lava rock. Whatever rock was below it must have been softer and easier for erosion to conquer. The basalt columns jump out at you here, and the formation in its entirety is reminiscent of something we've seen before across the canyon from our campsite. These are radiating columns formed when thick lava cools against a curved or sloping surface. The Grand Canyon of the Stickeen is full of these sunburst formations. The one in particular is especially striking and meaningful. The unmistakable image of a bird with wings outstretched rises majestically over the confluence of the Stickeen and Tahltan rivers. This is home of the crow, bringer of light in Tahltan culture. This site is often referred to as the birthplace of the Tahltan nation. As we drive back, there remains one unanswered question in the story. Where did all that lava rock come from? It's an important piece. After all, without all that lava rock forming tall, unyielding canyon walls, the Stikine would be navigable much further inland. The hub for transferring people and goods from the river to overland trails would have been somewhere farther upriver, and the town of Telegraph Creek as we know it may not even exist. So where is the volcano that produced such massive amounts of lava? There, in all its ice-capped glory, is the Mount Edziza Volcanic Complex, a melange of volcanoes and lava flows all raised into the sky on a plateau of its own making. The lava that most often punches through the earth here flows easily. It builds massive yet subtle shield volcanoes, explosive little cinder cones, and lava flows that travel fast and far. We can even see a few cinder cones in the foreground. We mentioned the Tahltan people were savvy traders in constant economic contact with their trading partners across the coast mountains. One of their most prized and precious goods was obsidian, volcanic glass from Mount Edziza. We make our way home thoroughly enchanted with this part of the world and grateful we experienced it in sunshine because it seems our luck is up. The incredible stretch of sunshine that held on for nearly a month has come to an end, and tomorrow the rain starts. And that's most unfortunate because tomorrow we head south to Alaska. And if that confuses you, oh wait, it gets better. For the moment, disappointment in the coming rain is pushed aside. Right now, life is about this road and the immense wild that surrounds it. The rain holds off for a bit, but it's coming. It's frustrating because had we not broken down earlier this summer, our time going down the Cassiar Highway would have been perfectly timed with all that sunshine. But c'est la vie. We just keep holding on to the hope that something down the road will reveal why the breakdown was really a blessing in disguise. And so we push on, attempting to cover 250 miles to our next destination. If we had the luxury of time, we would wait for a sunny day so that we could fly the drone and show you more of this beautiful drive. But it's nothing but rain for days and days and days, and so we must go.
In the darkness when I'm stumbling, and I don't know what to do. I am never over you, and I don't know why I'm like this, why I never get enough. In the depths of all my drowning fears, I am covered in your love. And it's then that I'm reminded just how beautiful you are. Even when my faith is falling, you're still carrying my heart. My heart is covered in your love.
We reach the tiny service stop of Mesiaden Junction. Here is where we turn onto a dead-end highway often cited as one of the most beautiful stretches of road in Canada. As the crow flies, we are 130 miles south of Telegraph Creek, and this is where a highway does cut through the Coast Mountains. Even in the rain, the scenery is awe-inspiring. In fact, if anything, the rain and mist make the mountains even more epic. Moody and mystical, we are eating it up. And then there are moments like this. We continue onward towards the sea and towards Alaska. Before we know it, we are pulling into the small hamlet of Stewart, British Columbia. We are almost at the end of the road, but not quite. We continue on because what actually lies near the end of this road is one of the most curious twists of geography and history wrapped up in one little place. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to cross a very unique international border and join us in Hyder, Alaska, next time on Art We There Yet?